This video is going to show you how to create a bed leg and using what we'll kind of think of as like coordinates for placing work points and then going from there to make your bed leg. All right. So this is what it'll look like in the end. All right. And this is, of course, a drawing that you will use to guide your creation of this thing. All right. So let me try to update this here. Hopefully it doesn't change anything. Okay, good. So yeah, let's get into how we will use this, and I will probably share this drawing with you, even though it's kind of messy, for creating your own bed leg. All right, so I'm gonna get you started, and then I'm gonna have you finish up the rest of this. Okay, so to do this, this is what we'll do. New design. Make sure you call it, bed leg, your last name. That's how you'll save it. Since I already have a file, I'm not going to do that. But make sure this goes in your room project. Okay. Go to Create Sketch, and you can use one of the upright planes. And this is what we're going to do. We are going to think of this. I'll put these right next to each other. Actually, no, it doesn't let me do that. We're going to think of this. As kind of like a Cartesian plane, and we're going to think about different points along this plane. And we're actually going to use something called points or work points today. So what I'm going to have you think of as 0, 0 will be, let me zoom in a little bit, this point right here. Okay, so the center of your bed leg is going to be 0, 0. All right, and I'm going to have us create the things, so the x's would be negatives, and the y's will be positive. All right, so yeah, let's get started. Okay, so coming to our drawing, we can put a point there. All right, so if you go to create and then point, we can actually place a point right at the origin. And we know that the first one, by looking at it, is going to be over here at like -1.5. Okay, and make sure your document settings are in inches, right? Okay, so that's one of our points. Going back to here, we next will have at 1 inch up, all right, and -0.8 over our next point. Okay, so think about this like in terms of x, y, it would be -0.8, comma 1. All right, and so coming over here, what I can do is I can actually just, it looks like every time I switch out of this, it might get rid of whatever feature I was in. Not sure about that. I can just drop this somewhere, all right, and then I can kind of like dimension it. All right, so I can grab the dimension tool here, and I can say from this line here, I need that to be 0.8 over. Wow, that's kind of weird. I clicked right on it. Was not trying to. And then I need it to be, we said 1 inch up, right? So I'm going to click here and change that to be 1 inch. All right, enter. Let's just make sure that that is correct. Yep, 1 and -0.8 for our x coordinate. All right, so next we need this point right here. Okay, zooming in. So that, if we're looking carefully, is going to be -0.48 for the x, and the y would be 1.5. Okay, so coming back here, we're just going to drop another point. Seriously, it doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you don't put it like, on something that's going to constrain it. All right, and then we'll dimension it. All right, so this distance, the x distance, let's try to get that here. Well, that's the y distance. I guess we can do that while we're at it. That's going to be, we said 1.5. All right, and then we've got to define how far it is from here, and that was going to be, I think, 0.48. All right, cool. So let's double check that. Come back to here. -0.48. Good. All right, and that was going up to the 1.5. Okay, so next one up, 1.8 will be the y, and then the 0.34 would be the x. Okay, so we'll just put another point somewhere in the correct area, like here-ish, and then click dimension. All right, I think we said the distance was 0.34. So you'll notice I'm actually not doing the best job of placing these dimensions correctly. If I wanted to do it neater, what I'd need to do is escape out of that, drag these down so that they are nested correctly, right? Nesting means the order that you're putting things. And then, yeah, we need this one to be, how high up was it? I've already forgotten. 1.8. Okay, so from here to here, I'll put this, oops, okay, I gotta do dimension. So try that again, from here to here. Okay, good, we're gonna have 1.8. All right, so that kind of gives us a start, and you can continue that kind of process moving up this thing. You know, maybe you'll give us one more, and then I'll let you figure out the rest. So this last one would be, so I've actually started having them at this point go from the top. So that's 1.34, so negative 1.34 as our x, and 4.08 as our y. Let's do that. All right, so that one's going to be in this different area. So just kind of place that somewhere up here. And dimension from this point here. And I'm going to put it like kind of up above. We said that was going to be like 1.34, I think. And the distance, I can check that at this point. Yeah, 1.34. For the height is 4.08. Okay. So dimension from this point to this point, and I'm going to nest it a little further away on this side, 4.08. Okay, cool. So I've got all these points now. Great. So what do I do with the points? Well, glad you asked. If we want to make it a little easier to see and not as chaotic, you can turn off the dimensions, right, by clicking that check. But we need to start connecting things, all right? And specifically, there are arcs here connecting a lot of the stuff at the bottom, and they have different radii, all right? So let's do, all right, an arc from here to here. It would be helpful if I selected the arc tool, right? So let me delete that. All right, and there we go, arc, and we're gonna do what's called a 3-point arc. All right, so you pick both ends of the arc, and then you pick a middle point. So for now, we can just make sure it's going the right direction, and then we'll go back and dimension them, all right? So we've still got the arc tool, so we're gonna need to do it from this point to this point. Okay, just make it go the right direction for now. So this next one, I think, actually goes the opposite direction. It does, all right? So we're gonna get the arc tool again. And have it go like that. All right, and then this next one, the last one I'm going to show you, it goes back the other way. Okay, so grab the arc, 3-point arc, from this point to this point, and then it's going this way. All right, so I'm going to right-click, say OK, and so what I want to start doing is dimensioning these things. All right, so the first arc is 1.35. The next one up is 0.52. Let's see if we can remember that. All right, so dimension. What am I looking for? Here we go. All right. All right, and so I think I said this was 1 point, well, not 1. Let's try that again. Undo that. Or just, change it. So let's turn our dimensions back on so we can see them. And it was 1.35 and then 0.52. So let's double click this. 1.35. Now, did I get it to the right point? It looks like it's, so here's the problem. It's kind of moved both those points. So those were not like locked in place, and it would probably be helpful to do that to get them constrained correctly. So let me undo what I've done and undo that. and undo this. Okay, there we go. And the lock or fix on fix, that's like the last constraint you want to use if you can avoid it. Yeah, basically there's usually a better way to constrain something than using that, but we might have to use that for some of these here. So one thing I can do here is this horizontal, and I think that should lock this in place, so it's not going to move. The others, however, I might have to just fix. So let's try doing this now, all right, and redimensioning it. Let's say, oh, cancel. We got to turn on our dimensions again. Okay, so we're going to change this to be, okay, cancel. My dimensions are there. So let me escape out of dimension and just double click that. There we go, 1.35. And yeah, that did not do what I wanted either. So let's escape out of that. And let's fix these other points that we had already specified where they are. Just making sure that they haven't moved by looking at the dimensions. Yeah, I think we're still good. All right, right now I'm just trying to fix those points. Okay, and so I'm going to right click, I'm done fixing points. So now let's try to dimension this again. There we go. Okay, so that's correct. This next one we said was 0.52. So yeah, fixing those would be important for the way that we're doing this. All right, so let me go to dimension. Put this up here, say 0.52. Did not like that. Let me double click. .52. Okay. So we got an, oh, see, there's a tangent constraint. So that's our problem there. I need to turn off those tangent constraints right now. All right. I definitely do not want a tangent constraint here. So I'm going to right click on that, delete it. Okay, and now I should be able to fix this. 0.52. There we go. Okay. So the next one is 0.33. And for now, let's click off that tangent constraint because that might mess things up for us. All right, so go to dimension. All right, and we're going to say this is, I think, 0.33. All right, just double check that. Yep. All right, and then we're going to have 3.86. So let's go to dimension. You're supposed to go at a 45-degree angle with these things, so it's getting kind of tough to do that. Anyway, 3.86, I think that's what I said. Okay. All right, so you've got to start here. What we do want to do here in order to kind of keep things looking smooth, so you'll see here when we're looking at this, yeah, in order to avoid these lines when we can, we use tangent constraints. So what we'll do is we will set, what do I want to set tangent to each other? Let's say tangent, this arc to this arc. Not sure it's going to like that. Let's try that again. This arc to this arc. Nope, does not like that. Okay. Well, we're definitely going to want one for the next, like from this arc to this arc when you get there. Okay. And that might be the only one. I can just double check on the original sketch. Let's go to Edit Sketch. And looks like we've got, yeah, a tangent there. It says that there should be a tangent at the bottom. So might have to play with this a little bit more to make that happen. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, I'll play with that, but yeah, just keep going and you'll finish this up. You'll revolve it at the end.